Smyrniotis.
Hey, welcome back to Midas Letter Live. My next guest this segment is Peter Smyrniotis. He's the managing partner and director of Victory Square Technologies, which at this point is still a private company?
Actually, we're a publicly traded company.
You're publicly traded. What is the symbol and why isn't it on your business card?
It's on the back side of the business card. It should be VST.
Oh, okay. There we go. Trading on the CSE under the symbol VST. Peter, tell me, what exactly is Victory Square all about?
We are a venture build studio, which is a technology investment firm that is very active in investing. We deploy capital, we deploy customer access, and we roll up our sleeves and work with the clients we invest in actively through their entire growth cycle.
Okay. So it sounds like you're almost a merchant bank for crypto?
We're a merchant. We come across as a merchant bank for investing. Okay. We do the bulk of our investing in equity investments. Mm-hmm. We tend to invest in companies that are basically seed to Series A, seed to RTO. $10 million investment values. We take material stakes of between 23%, a little higher than that, usually up to 33% on average.
Interesting.
And that gives us something that we can actually crystallize on our NAV, which also means that we can bring our shareholders into the conversation so they can recognize the value creation as we go up the ladder with the clients we invest in.
Sure. I just happened to have recently returned from Panama, where I met with one of your investees, CryptoBuyer. What is it about an entity like CryptoBuyer that is attractive to an entity like Victory Square?
It's a really good question, and I'm glad you didn't run into any snakes in Panama. That's, they haunt my dreams.
I did, but I stomped on their little heads.
Let's not broadcast that. What we liked about CryptoBuyer first was the team. In fact, team seems to be the main thing we always prioritize for investment. Beyond their capabilities to deliver value to themselves and to their existing team and management team, what I'm alluding to is that ultimately what they wanted to do was solve a problem at scale. They were not only great stewards of capital, but they were really efficient in their thinking. They identified a market opportunity. It's a large addressable market. It translates borderlessly into multiple languages, and remittance in digital crypto remittance at scale hasn't been done effectively yet. They're pioneering this in a place that actually requires crypto access. And I mean, there's challenges happening in South America that are socioeconomic, where moving currency of any kind becomes very complicated. Right. Crypto transactions are a really efficient way to do it. Operational costs are diminished. It's traceable. It's on the blockchain, which means it's easy to measure, easy to reconcile for revenue and for tax purposes. It's a really great product and service.
Okay, so just as a mechanism for sort of understanding VST's business model, what is your sort of investment size in that? What's your expectation for an exit over time?
So our bite size, if you will, we tend to come in for anywhere between up to 23%, sometimes 33%. In this transaction, we took, I believe, about a 20% holding. Don't hold me to that, I don't have the paper in front of me.
Right.
But our expectation on growth is linked to the team's input. So we would anticipate some sort of transactional liquidity between 24 to 36 months. I think that's usually what, as a mean average, is what we expect.
Cool. And what kind of return on capital do you expect from investments like that in the collective portfolio? What's the average?
So we tend to avoid percentage gains. We're really strong on multipliers.
Okay.
With no ego to our businesses, we are very bullish on our company's performance. We've had companies excel and give us 4,500% returns on investments, and when we were private, we have returns currently that were projected to come in anywhere between 4x up to 12x.
Wow.
And because we have an aggregate of currently up to 20 companies in our portfolio, 5 of those companies are going public currently through RTO transactions. We anticipate crystallizing a lot of that value.
Wow.
So we can do fairly well for our investors in a consistent fashion.
Yeah.
But ultimately, you're looking at 5x or higher per transaction. I think that'd be a reasonable expectation.
Sounds like Victory Square is quite the vehicle for investors who might not be comfortable investing directly into crypto things themselves because they lack the depth of experience to really understand what they're getting themselves into. Sure.
Can I provide a little clarity, if
Please
that's right?
do.
So the most important thing we've recognized is that blockchain and artificial intelligence are instrumental, impactful technologies. If you're going to invest in a company, you're investing in a management team that has recognized that those technologies underpin the next generation of companies. Like, this is a once-in-a-generation opportunity. So what we're looking for in this investment is to catalyze if you will, I think that's the right word, to recognize what that catalyst is. And blockchain and AI are catalyst technologies. So we'll make equity investments in those companies. Some of those companies will choose to go public. Some of those companies will elect to do ICOs. Some will do utility coins. Some will do security coins. We follow regulator guidance. We follow the guidance in Canada. We try to make sure that we follow all the rules where we go. We spend a fortune in ensuring that we get the right legal counsel to provide our companies the right guidance. And I think ultimately what that results in is a really strong group of companies that are delivering ROI consistently.
And I guess that has been your experience to date?
Thus far, we've been doing really well. It's a privilege. We get to pick pick of the litter because we have a track record with entrepreneurs of generating success for all stakeholders. And I think for us, it always starts with entrepreneurs, so that we have a strong position when management owns about 35% of the company. So we're well aligned to ensure that we make upside, our investors make upside, and the entrepreneurs who came to us make upside. And it's that triple win is what we're looking for in every case. Right.
So you're equity funded.
We are equity funded.
This is an interesting model. So then, what is the expectation over time for? Are you just going to grow this thing? It sounds like it could be a monster, is what I'm trying to get at.
It's going to be a monster.
It's going to be a monster. How much capital do you have right now to deploy?
Currently, we have about $5 million in deployable capital in Canadian currency. We also have a couple $1 million in cryptocurrency on file. We also have a low footprint, high yield crypto mining operation that spits out about $2.5 million of Canadian currency every year. Wow. And that's continued to optimize and increase general value. And we're also recipients of the Canadian Supercluster Initiative. Okay. So we have matching $25 million of deployable capital from the Canadian federal government.
Wow. I guess this is what the modern integrated fintech / AI / crypto company looks like.
It's next generation. I was recently when I was abroad, someone tried to wrap their head around what it is we do.
Right.
And the easy elevator conversation pitch is that we're a pure play equity investment vehicle that gives you access to the next generation tech companies that harness AI and blockchain.
Right.
And that really works. Fundamentally that is what we are. But what it gets really interesting is that today this thesis that we're working on, this thesis that has delivered value, this intellectual property that works. We're hoping that 5 or 6 years from now, other entities globally will join us and replicate some of what's working for us and make it their own.
I saw on your website that you also maintain a portfolio of the actual cryptocurrencies themselves. So are you actually running an arbitrage strategy on cryptos versus each other, or are you just accumulating a portfolio in the expectation of future valuation on the whole sector?
It's actually a third path. We are partnered with the World Blockchain Forum. We've partnered with D10E. These are thought-leading digital conferences, pioneering blockchain companies, AI companies who are crypto-funded. And we provide a prize pool amount of about $100,000 to these conferences fairly regularly. And what happens is about 250 companies apply online. About 50 make the cut to show up at the conference. And the top 3 companies that compete and are judged by crypto hedge fund managers, active equity investors, and other thought leaders in the space win access to the $100,000 prize pool. We give out the $33,000 times 3 for each company, and then we aggregate and keep those in our crypto basket.
Sounds like a great business model collection.
Yeah, it is. It actually works really, really well, and it gives us access to some fantastic companies that you just can't find. If you go looking at the traditional route through incubators and accelerators, which is a great way to do business, that's one way that we all know. But crypto and blockchain and AI companies, they're decentralized. They operate in Bucharest. They operate in Bangladesh. They operate in Perth. You have to go where they are, and you have to go where they congregate. Whether it's Singapore or London or New York, you got to get on a plane. You got to go meet them. You got to support them, and you got to be active.
Sure. You mentioned that team is very important to your evaluative process. Tell me about your team.
So our team starts with our CEO, Shafin Diamond. He is a 22-year veteran of entrepreneurship, and Shafin basically had a really good series of successes early on, kicking off what we call venture building. He identified online dating and online gambling as a place where you could basically invest his own capital, and what he observed was when people were in online gambling and winning, they would go to dating, and when they were losing, they'd go to payday loans. And this follow the money theory allowed him to basically continue to deploy capital into companies where he could bring his existing customer base and working capital and generate returns that were managed and generate returns that he could depend on. And so that thesis from our CEO all the way down is we love revenue. Our management team, I myself cut my teeth in the enterprise space. And I was privileged enough to get to be trained by the best 10 companies in the world. And what I learned from them was that commercialization involves everything from affiliate marketing, direct sales, channel, OEM, cloud, brokerages. There's a lot of ways to tackle the problems in front of most companies in terms of securing new revenue. But if you get creative and you work with your management team to do that, you can tackle it effectively. And our management team and our advisor pool is extensive, all age, shapes, and sizes, and we are all very driven.
Wow. That's great. We're going to leave it there for now. We've actually reached the limit of the attention span of most online viewers these days. So there's lots for us to talk about in the future with Victory Square, and we will come back to you in due course and talk about that. Peter, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.